With the increased focus on mental wellness over the past few years, I think it's pretty widely known and accepted at this point in time how impactful journaling can be in helping you with this area of your life. It's therapist recommended, you hear coaches of all types recommend it as well, and I totally agree with them. But today here on my channel, I'd like to take it one step further. I'd like to share with you 7 different ways that journaling can absolutely change your life. It has mine, and so I'd like to share with you some journaling prompts that I like to use for this. I'd like to share with you some examples of how I do things and ways that I use my journal to help me in this manner. So I'm Julie with J&B Living. If you're new here and on my channel, I like to share tips and ideas, thoughts on how to help you create a life well lived with and by being more intentional in your life. And I also have a community, The Art of Intentional Living, where I share similar things and support as well. Would love to have you there. So if that sounds good to you and you want to make sure that you don't miss any of my videos that talk about these kind of things, I'll just go ahead and remind you now to go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll go ahead and get started. So the first way that journaling can change your life is that it can help you to troubleshoot what is preventing you from doing the things you want to do in your life and being who you want to be. And so right off the bat, I'd like to go ahead and share with you 2 of my more favored journal prompts for this area. The first one is, what stops me from, and then fill in the blank with whatever it is that you're trying to achieve and you haven't managed to achieve yet. The second journal prompt is, who do I need to be for me to, again, fill in the blank here. And in this case, this comes from the perspective that usually when there's something that we want to accomplish in our life, it takes us to be a bit of a different person than we are today. It requires a different level of skills. It may require different characteristics and traits. And for us to get from where we are now to actually accomplishing that, it requires us to change. And so if we think about what we need to be and the person that we need to be, then we can start doing the things we need to do to acquire those characteristics, those skills, and those traits. So the second way that journaling can change your life is that it can allow you to uncover the negative beliefs that you have that are holding you back in your life. Now, this particular topic is a pretty extensive one, and I don't have enough time here on the video today to go into the details of that. But I do have a guide that I've put together. It's a free guide that you can go ahead and access at your leisure, and I'll put the link to that in the description below so that you can go out and get that. So the third way that it can change your life is by being your daily reminder of where you want to focus your time and attention in your life. So let me ask you a question. Do you normally intentionally focus your attention on what you want to be thinking about and what you want to be doing? Or do you typically just focus on whatever the next thing that comes up and is in front of you is in your life? There are so many things that compete for our attention every day. So if you aren't intentional with where and how you focus your attention, it will control you instead. So by doing this, it controls what you're thinking, and it also controls the actions you take. So it's really important to be intentional with that limited scope of attention that you have. And one of the ways you can do this is by using some daily reminders in your journal. If you've been on my channel here and listening to my videos for a while, you'll know that one of the things that I do, and I'll share with you here, is the very first thing that I see in my journal every day is in the front, I list my core values, because that's something I want to be my guiding light for how I spend my time and attention during the day. So that's just one way that I can use my journal to focus my attention. I'll also list my intentions in the journal as well. Intentions for what I really want to work on and accomplish either this week or this month, this year. Those are ways that, again, by looking at these on a regular basis, I'm reminded and I am more likely to spend more time and more actions on the things that I want to focus my attention when I'm actually reminded to do so. So the fourth way it can change your life is by helping you solve challenges that you currently have in your life by asking yourself questions, coming up with your own journal prompts. And this one, I thought it would be great to share with you some recent examples that I have done this in my spring journal. And so I flagged these here so that I can point these out to you. So the very first one here was, I asked myself the question, how can I make doing the taxes easier and more efficient? So this is something that I dread every year, and it seems to take way longer than I would like to accomplish. And so I asked myself this question, and in result, I got several different things and suggestions on what I could do to make the process faster and more efficient. And these are things that I wouldn't have done had I not actually sat down and thought about it and let those answers flow onto paper before I got started. So then the second one that I recently asked myself this question to was, oh, here it is. Why, after a month, am I still struggling to get up when I want? And this one, when the time changed, I really wanted to start getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I have just really struggled to be able to make that happen. And so by asking myself the question and writing that question down, it allowed me to get my brain into more of a brainstorming mood than I would be just kind of thinking about it randomly while walking around the house. And I got some really great insights about this that I know I would not have gotten had I just tried to think about why am I not able to do this? And so that's another very recent example. I actually came back with about 6 different ways and thoughts of why I was struggling so much and what I could do differently and what I could try differently to help me get one step closer to making this actually happen like I want it to. So the 5th way that I use my journal, and again, because this is a place where I use the journal as a self-improvement tool in and of itself, and so it is my go-to place to help me create new habits. Now, the journal that I have does have what I call wellness trackers within it. So there's 5 different wellness trackers in here. So that's one place that I utilize to help myself create new healthy habits, new habits for whatever it is I'm trying to achieve, whether it's those new skills in being that person that I need to be to achieve the goals that I want. But then there's other places, and if your particular journal that you use or your planner that you use doesn't have any type of habit or wellness tracker in it, that's okay. Another place that I actually use for tracking that could be used to track goals, habits, and that type of thing too, or progress towards goals, is actually on your calendar itself. If it's like a planner, you can do that. These little green and orange blocks that I've coded in here are where I'm actually tracking some things that I'm working on from a goal perspective as well. So it's another place where then I shift my focus daily to how am I doing in those areas. And this daily focus on what I want to achieve helps me take the actions that I need to take to actually make changes in my life. So the sixth way that your journal can help you change your life is by helping you to really understand yourself better. And this is something that happens over time as you continue to write about things and get insights through your journal. So for me, one of the biggest ways this has been impactful for me is in helping me for my physical and mental wellness, if you will. In particular, I have really been finding ways to better understand what truly helps me to get a better night's rest. So that's over the past few years, there's just been little things. You can research how to get a good night's sleep, but each person is different, and knowing specifically for you what works for you can be really helpful. So that's just, for me, like one way that's helped me. Another thing would be things like knowing that if I don't get a workout in the morning, it's not going to happen. It just won't happen that day. And over time, in tracking things, whether it's through the habit tracker or in asking myself a question, why am I not doing this? I have learned that that's just what happens for me, and part of it's just because of the way I work and the way I structure my days right now. But I find that out by asking myself the questions in a journal of why am I not doing this? The other thing is, it helps you by getting to know yourself better. You can better structure your days in a way that really works for you. So one thing for me is I've learned that my morning routines, which are something that are really important for my personal growth and my health and wellness as well, that I found those need to shift every season. And that's because the amount of light that we have differs, and when it gets light differs each season, and the temperatures change too. And with that, I found that I need to shift the way that I do things. So for instance, as the weather gets warmer in the springtime and it starts to get lighter earlier, I can get out and get a walk much earlier, and I actually enjoy that like sunrise walk. But in the winter, I do a lot better if I plan to take that a little bit later in my morning routine so that it's warmed up a little bit outside and it's a little lighter outside, that type of thing. Now there's a whole other series of things that I do every morning that I do them every season, but I kind of shift the order and the way that I do them. So that's just another example of just really understanding how things work better for me personally. And now, since I've learned that, I know each season that I'm going to go ahead and shift those, so I don't have to figure it out again season after season and kind of fumble my way. I'm like, okay, why am I not doing this? Or why is this not working right for me anymore? So that can be really helpful in terms of really getting to know what works best for you. The seventh and last way that I'd like to share with you that journaling can change your life is that it is one of the easiest ways to help you manage your mood, your mindset, and your mental wellness overall. When I'm angry, the first place I go is my journal. When I'm sad, the first place I go is to my journal. Anytime I'm feeling intense emotions, I go to my journal. So let's talk about anger as a starting point. I can give you a few journal prompts here that could be helpful to help you work your way through the emotion itself. So one of the first things that I would ask myself when I'm angry is, why do I feel this way? So just really releasing that onto paper. The second thing, after I have released some of the intensity of that emotion, is what can I accept responsibility for? Now this can be a tough one, but remember that when you have and can accept responsibility for a situation, that means you have control over it. And when you have control over it, it means that you can make changes and you can take actions. So then knowing that what you can accept responsibility for leads to the next question is, well, what can I do differently? What do I have within my control to change? So you could actually ask yourself some similar questions, may be applicable for when you're feeling sad as well. And then another frequent emotion that I can give you a journal prompt for is discouragement. If you're feeling discouraged, I have found one of the easiest ways to get beyond discouragement is to go ahead and do something now. So what I will ask myself in my journal when I'm feeling discouraged are, what are 5 things that I can do right now towards whatever it is I'm feeling discouraged about? And then I do them. I list them first, and then I go ahead and I do them. And it's amazing when you take the motivation to take even tiny, small actions. It might be just researching something, but it really helps to get beyond the feelings of discouragement. But it starts with putting things on paper and listing them in your journal. So I really hope that sharing this with you here today has been helpful to you. If you don't already journal, I hope you have found one or more reasons to pick it up and begin the practice. You can find all kinds of tips on how to begin a journaling routine and how to journal on my website at jmbliving.com. If you are already a journaler, I hope that this encourages you to use it as a tool to be more intentional with your life. Have an amazing rest of your week.